Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Today, let us discuss what fatty acids are lipids, the second biomolecule of life. Let's start with Kapil Vriksh, the tree which was originally designed by nature, which had roots in the universe and the branches to the earth. That means what is manufactured or synthesized in the universe from atom, element, molecule compounds, and how it was brought down by the Briksh, which is imaginary or universal trees, and then how the process started thereafter. As in this particular picture, you can very clearly see, you can see a methane plus oxygen right on top. That was the first reaction which took place in the universe after being formation of atom, molecules and other things. First thing which is very important is methane, water, oxygen and carbon dioxide, and as you can see down, water and oxygen is a result of these two. This is where primordial chemistry tree started as such. Now comes the question of the carbon dioxide being manufactured. As you can see very clearly on top, you have methane plus two molecules of oxygen leading to the formation of one molecule of carbon dioxide plus two molecules of water. This is how the universe started. And this is what divine mathematics is all about. Methane has got a power of 10 protons and oxygen of 8 protons. And carbon dioxide has got 22 and water has 10. So this again centers on Divyank alone. But let me also make it very clear. To start with, the inner planets between Sun and asteroid belt, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars had 97% carbon dioxide to start with. Because biological life is not on Mercury, Venus, and Mars, but it is on Earth. So, atmosphere Earth has changed from 97% carbon dioxide to 21% oxygen, as you can see, according to Divyank also, and 78% nitrogen for the next product to be manufactured in the process of amino acids and proteins, which is a biological product. Now, all these things fell from the universe to the earth, and with the help of Indra, the king of gods, which is water and rain god. Let us accept that Vedas talk about Indra as the king of God and the god which brought down all that water. What I am trying to drive is not to bring religion, is bring a concept which was known to the ancient Indian people from the very beginning itself. The water is something which is very important and that is related to God. That Amrit or nectar, that is king, he brought it down to the earth along with water and things. That means thunder, lightning, rain, all the essentials came down from cosmic to the Bhumi, earth, and from there to the ocean, and from ocean everything has come. The first molecules as on date to start with was carbon dioxide plus water to start the biological life. Let's claim now, and I'm this particular picture. I'm showing it very clearly. These are the four, but Earth has changed from 97% to 21% oxygen and nitrogen 78%. Now there comes a question of another Kapil Vriksh. Now it is turned the other way around. This is a tree which developed on the earth, but the first one was developed in the universe itself. This is the difference. Kapil Vriksh was originally, this is the Vriksh which takes the light from sun and is planted on earth with the water, and it grows something called photosynthesis. The synthesis of carbohydrate is the one which is the first biomolecule which I am going to talk about it earlier. Now the second one. But let us start from carbohydrate because even the formation of fatty acid is from carbohydrates or glucose itself. The reason is, if we understand the formation of glucose, then we can understand the formation of fatty acids. This is a continuous process itself. Now, genesis of biochemistry is very, very clear. It all started from atom, element, molecules, and organic compounds in the universe, which came down to Earth, and from ocean, primordial ocean, churning of ocean, all the elements appeared, and then from there the biological life started. The first biological life started as unicellular organism or process. But before coming to that particular stage, let me talk of in the beginning repetition again. Descent of carbon dioxide and water from the union of methane plus oxygen only. So what stands out is carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are three trinity which is important. Methane, water and carbon dioxide are two molecules which are important, three molecules which are important. And how carbon and water got together in earth with the photosynthesis of sunlight converted into glucose plus oxygen. That's how carbon dioxide got converted into oxygen with the help of plant kingdom. So first is the mineral kingdom, second is the plant kingdom. They are the one who took carbon dioxide from atmosphere, water from the earth, converted into glucose plus oxygen. And I'm going to show that water created oxygen and carbon dioxide created glucose as we proceed. Having planted that, this was meant for the third generation, which is animal kingdom. And animal cells use carbon dioxide plus hydrogen from the union of glucose plus oxygen. In other words, universe brought carbon dioxide and earth. Plant use carbon dioxide and earth to produce glucose, and human beings and animals used glucose plus oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. And what do you see the wisdom here? Amazing equilibrium of universe starting from carbon dioxide plus water and again replacing carbon dioxide water by plant to glucose and animal cells from glucose and oxygen back to carbon dioxide. This is equilibrium. You can imagine how beautiful is the idea of mineral kingdom, plant kingdom, and animal kingdom to maintain the amount of carbon dioxide required, water required, and use it for energy on both the sides. And this is the universal law of deviance which I am talking about. Now come to a question. As this picture says very clear, some of the glucose in cell is used for cellular respiration. That means each cell is going to take oxygen. Let's say human body takes oxygen from atmosphere. But when it comes to the cellular level, multicellular organism inside, they get it from interstitial fluid through RBC, hemoglobin and oxygen to the cell. And that oxygen is used for cellular expression of glucose into carbon dioxide and also oxygen into water. That is the first process which I am talking about is one. Some glucose is converted into starch and stored in seeds. That shows you can see the seeds. In seeds, it's a starch. It is not glucose as such. It's a multicellular polysaccharide in the form of starch which has got glucose and glucose only. Nothing else is stored for the seeds function in that. So that means glucose is most important for biological life thereafter. Third, remaining glucose is used to make lipids, proteins and carbohydrates from plant growth. Now, first thing, carbon dioxide plus water into glucose plus oxygen. Glucose is used to make lipid plus protein plus carbohydrate from plant growth as it grows up. And that is what used by animals at a later date in different forms. Human beings, birds take grains, fruits, vegetables, and seeds as such, whereas animals like cow, camel, herbivorous, they take grass or the plants otherwise because they can digest it. We cannot digest her- grass as such. Cellulose we cannot digest. So cellulose is not for us. For us, it is only glucose. And let's not talk about carnivorous animals. Let's forget about it. We are talking about human beings to be primarily how it is useful for us to move on to the next stage. Now come to the question of fatty acid synthesis in plant. This picture is very, very important. As you can see right in the center, you have pyruvate. As I tell you, when glucose is used, is converted into 10 stages from glucose to 6-phosphate to glucose 6, fructose 6-phosphate, and there I took pyruvic acid and lactic acid. Let's forget what lactic acid is. A pyruvic acid or pyruvate, which further gives rise to acetylcholine A enzyme in the plant, and then methanol CoA, then follicular acid synthesis takes place, and fatty acids are produced in the cell as such. That is in chloroplast cells of the plant kingdom. Pyruvate to acetyl CoA to methanol melano, malonyl CoA, and follicle fatty acid synthesis as such is produced in chloroplast. And then it goes to the next stage in peroxisome, and also pyruvate is converted to succinate, and that too is glycinate cycle, acyl CoA again, then beta oxidation takes place, then acyl CoA is done. First it is pyruvate to acyl, this is also acetyl, but finally it is acyl CoA in peroxidase which comes there. And similarly, acetyl CoA pool also comes to play a role, goes to peroxidase, and then finally when it comes down, the product it is acyl CoA pool, which becomes the next stage for Kennedy pathway to produce triacyl glycerol. That is important, which leads to fatty acid completely. So, as I've written on the photosynthesis, carbohydrates are synthesized first, lipids are synthesized next, oxygenases are removed from the carbohydrate formula. Why? We are going to understand that also as we proceed on. Because why carbohydrate glucose is converted into fatty acids, what happens, why it happens, what is the beautiful design of nature in the process. We are going to see that. Now, in this Kennedy pathway, you can see how glucose comes in, how the formation of fatty acid is, how it is used, and how it is converted into triacyl glycinate. As I told you, this is the synthesis process. You can see it leisurely as such. Not much to discuss because this is meant for general public by and large. Now, I'm going to show a 10 1 gram of carbohydrate, 1 gram of protein produce 4 kilocalories of ATP. But fatty acid can produce 9 kilocalories, that means 2.25 times more than glucose and proteins can produce. In this, I'm just introducing 10 stages of beta oxidation of fatty acids. As you can see in the middle, fatty acyl CoA you can see, then FAD to FADH, first stage of oxidation, to acyl CoA dehydrogenase is the enzyme which is produced to produce trans alpha 2 anyl CoA, and in that goes the water as a hydration to anyl CoA hydrolase, then produce 3,1 hydroxylase CoA, 3 hydroxyl CoA, and the dehydrogenase is the enzyme. Then NADH is converted into NADH plus earlier 2 plus NADH and plus 2 is the oxygenation 2. First was FAD to FADH2. This is NAD to NADH plus H. It's the second stage, that's the first stage. Then comes the question of beta ketoacyl CoA. Then in the enzyme called beta ketothiolase, HCO thiolase takes place. and fatty acyl CoA is converted into acetyl CoA, as you can see in the process. But this is one finally used as a fatty acids for functions of ATP. Left side you can see heart depends upon fatty acids primarily, mainly. And because it uses fatty acids, it converts more ATP. As a result, cardiac muscles from second month of gestation till we die, they continuously function without any problem because they do not produce lactic acid or pyruvic acid as such. Right side, I have given the formula of fatty acids: lauric acid, mystic acid, palmitic acid, stearic acid, alkylic acid, linoleic acid, oleic. You have both saturated and unsaturated fatty acids. But what you have seen at the end, it is O2 only. That means the amount, if you look at the formula of glucose, carbon 6, H12O6. This is same formula where carbon and hydrogen CH2 remains same with a little variation in unsaturated, but oxygen instead of having same number is reduced only to 2. Other oxygen is removed, just 2 are left. That is what I give. Now we will study as we move how it is further developed as such to go on to the next stage. Now let's take lauric acid is a carbon 12 plus 24 hydrogen plus O2. 12 and 24 is the same ratio, but its O instead of 12 has been brought to 2. That means 10 have been removed. It's going to be later for converting it into again glucose to produce more ATP. And it is straight chain saturated fatty acid. I'm making it very clear. It's a saturated fatty acid and medium chain fatty acid. It is a conjugate acid of dodedokinase. The dodedokinase means 2 plus 10. Deca means 10, 2 is 2. 2 plus 10 is a 12 combination. It is derived from hydrate of 12. Lauric acid is inexpensive, non-toxic and safe to handle compound often used in laboratory investigation of melting and point depression. It's more of a chemical use. You can see the formula down as such. You can see this picture is simple and is only one bond in the chain of carbons. Carbon chain I'm talking about. I'm not talking about oxygen. Now come to the meristic acid. It's C14H28O thing. 14 and 28 is the same ratio, and O instead of 14 has come down to 2, 12 have gone. This is a common saturated. First was the saturated, this is also saturated. With the molecular formula of this formula, it salts and enters are commonly referred to as meristate are tetradiode. Tetra is 4, deca is 10, means 14. Name of acyl group derived from mystic acid is mistol or tetradehydrogenase. And you can see the picture down has got two components, hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Hydrophilic means they love water. The right side is love water, but fat as such component in the left side is not soluble in water. That's all it means. They refrain from that, and that is the beauty of this particular thing. It's a common saturated fatty acid only. Let's come to the third cell, palmitic acid, which is carbon 16, hydrogen 32. Ratio is maintained. Oxygen from 16 has brought down to 2. 14 have been removed. Its structure contains 16 carbon backbone. So it can be a formula as I given, carbon 16, 32 O2, which is 16 carbon, 32 hydrogen, 2 oxygen, which I have already explained. It has a molecular weight of 256.42. It is a personal care product and used in cosmetics. It's more for hygienic products and beauty aesthetic purposes. Let's leave it at that. The structure you can see is a double fold. It's not a single line, but they're connected, goes like that. Then stearic acid at carbon 18, H32 ratio is maintained. Oxygen from 18 is brought down to 2. 16 have been removed. So it's a natural fatty acid with 18 carbon. You started with beginning 12, 14, 16, now we are going to 18. It is all even numbers, not odd numbers. IUPAC name is octadecanoic. That means 8 plus 10 is what? The earlier was 16. It's a soft, 16 could be hexa. Okay. It's a soft waxy solid with the formula as you've seen. The triglyceride derived from these three molecules of stearic acid is called stearin. Now we have come to triglyceride. Otherwise, triglyceride acylic. And that formula you can see right at bottom. It is a saturated single bond only in the carbon circle as such. Forget about the oxygen. Then come to the archidinic acid. It's got 20 carbons, 40 hydrogen, same formula, but oxygen has been reduced from 20 to 2. So 18 have been removed. So it's a longer formula. It's a 20 change. It is minor constituent of cocoa, butter, krill oil, peanut oil, corn oil, and cocoa oil. This is something found in that. And ester acids are known as archidinics. They are derived from Latin peanuts. See, other words, this is a prime function in peanuts only. And structure you can see on one side. Again, saturated, one line. That's it. Now the come to the question of unsaturated cells. That was saturated. The first unsaturated which I could think of as the system goes in the number wise is linolenic acid. You have carbon 18. Hydrogen should have been 36, but instead of 36 is only 32. 30 means 6 have been removed. Plus oxygen instead of 18 carbon is only 2, mean 16 have been removed. It's a type of a naturally occurring fatty acid, but it is unsaturated. It is octadecoxylic acid, that means 18 carbon and 3 double bonds. But you can see 3 double bonds here. In right at the bottom right side, you can 3 bonds. That means it's in and it's a mixture of the two. And let's leave it at that. So this is a one unsaturated thing with 3 bonds. That's it. Now, this is structure common between saturated and unsaturated. Carbon-carbon single bond you can see in saturated. Carbon-carbon double bond you can see in unsaturated. It could be 1, 2 or 3. Now comes to the next linoleic acid where you have carbon 18, hydrogen 32, oxygen 2. So instead of 36 you have 32 means 4 have been removed. It is an organic compound with this formula. It's an alkaline group like this. But it is a salt ester of acids of this acid are known, but it has got 2 carbon bonds you can see there in the middle. That is around 9 part. So it's becoming more specific. It is unsaturated fatty acid essential for life as such. Earlier was can be produced, this cannot be produced. So essential. The next one is oleic acid, carbon 18, hydrogen 32 plus 2. It's a classified acid as a monounsaturated thing. Always try double and this is single. It is omega 3 acid, abbreviated from lipid of 18 into 1, system 9, and maintained as such. You can see a double carbon in the middle only at 9 level out of 18. That's it. It is monounsaturated. It's also called omega 9, otherwise omega 6 3. Now come to the question of how fatty acids are used in the heart to produce more energy beta oxidation as such as I've shown you in the process that when you take glucose you convert into ATP. Amount of glucose 1 gram will be only 4 kilocalories. Protein also 4 kilocalories, but fatties will give you 9 because there is a process as I showed you. It's a two stages, oxidation 1 at FADH to FADH2 and oxygen 2 from NAD to NADH plus H gives you more ATP, and that is why you need more ATP in the heart muscles, because they have to function without producing pyruvic acid or lactic acid, which is painful. There is no formation of acid as such, and only ATP is given. And then how triglyceride is used into fatty acids, or fatty acids are taken, and how that's converted into energy in heart muscles, cardiac muscles, is a beautiful thing for anybody and everybody. No wonder nature saw to it the most important part of functioning or spreading water blood contents with all the nutrients for all the cells is by the heart. It continuously can function without any difficulty, without having any pain. If you get a pain in the heart, it's primarily because of block. Otherwise, when glucose is used, because of no oxygen being there straight away for fatty acid, then it becomes a different process. We will not go into that part as such. So, actually, coming to the next stage, we come to the stage. We are not going to talk about it. I think let's hereafter make videos small and short and be happy with it. Thank you very much.